Hello, in this video we're going to have a go at So Can Do Sleeveless Sunday girls dress. I'll talk about the pattern with you in a moment. It's easy to download. It's a free pattern. If you just look on the screen, then that's what it looks like. It looks really good. It's free. So you've got a back bodice, and you put it on the folded line, folded fabric on this edge, and you cut one outer and one lining, and then you have to cut this in half, and then it says on this one, which is the front bodice, you also cut this on the fold, one outer, one lining, and then mark the center front marking. That's all there is to do. You cut this on the fold, but then you leave that intact in one piece. These are the ones that you cut in half. Now I'm doing this all in the same fabric. This skirt is 20 inches long by the width of fabric, which on this I made 44. Yes, you've guessed it, this is a tablecloth. 100% cotton, seersucker cotton. Cost me £1 from a charity shop, and I'm going to make a little girl's dress. So this is what you should have so far. This is your front bodice, and your front bodice was on the fold, so when you open it out complete, then you should have two right sides together and pinned round the arms, not round the top, round the neck, round the arm. Obviously you don't pin the sides, the bottom or the top. Where you pin is where you sew. So if you want to pin it everywhere else, that's up to you. But if you just pin it where you're going to sew, you won't forget. 3/8 of an inch round the arms, round the neck, round the arm. And that's the front done. Right, the next one you do is, this is your back bodice, and obviously this is where you cut it. When you've done it, you did this on the fold, but where you cut it down the middle, then you do right sides together, and you sew around the arms, and obviously I have pinned on the other side. Pin where you're going to sew, 3/8 of an inch round each arm, and around the neckline and down both backs. So both arms, both necklines and both backs. So that's what you have to sew once you've pinned. So where you've just sewn, then there need to be pink to help them turn through. Use your pinking shears. If you haven't got pinking shears, then do some, I forgot what they're called. I always forget what things are called. Just pink round, but not nowhere else, only where you've sewn. So once you've pinked what you've sewn, the seams all the way around, then you want some fusible interfacing, and you want it 1 inch by 11 inches. Then once you have done your 1 inch by 11 inch, then iron next to the seam. I've done mine about 1/8 inch away, because these have to be pulled through, and I don't want them to sit directly on the stitches. So I've done 1/8 inch away from the stitches. So that's both sides of the back. Turn the front bodice inside out, or the right way round, and then press the seams that you've just sewn. That's neck and arms. Now I'm going to try and explain this the best I can. You've pulled your front bodice through and pressed it, so that's right side showing. Keep your backs together, wrong sides out. You haven't turned them through yet. Put one of your front sleeves, if you put your front on top, one of your front sleeves, so obviously this sleeve goes to that one. Put your front sleeve in, push it up, and then on the inside, if you think about it, you've got right sides together. Put your seams together on either side and pin them first, and then it should be the same. If you've got lining, then put your lining side together, different fabric. Whichever fabrics you've got, put them together the same. So if you've got lining different, put your lining together and your main fabrics together. I've got the same, so I'm okay. Don't matter which way around I'll do it, as long as I get the other side right. So if you've got two different fabrics, put your lining sides together and put your main fabrics together. Match up your side seams, and then sew 3/8 of an inch all the way around. So this is what we had when we put the front up and we put the fabrics together, and we've sewn 3/8 of an inch all the way around. That's the little tube we had. And then obviously this is the way this was facing. Obviously then you pull it through, and you can see that it's seamless all sewn together. Now, did we sew it the right way? So push your corners out, hold it up, and yes, my sleeve is on my sleeve side, so that's 1/2 done. Now I've just got to do the same with the other side. So basically, I'm going to turn this back so I know how it was before when I sewn it together, so I know that this is facing the right way when I put the other side up. So that's how it was when I push this side up. This is my other sleeve that's left over to work. So what I'm going to do is push it this way, don't twist it. Whatever you do, don't twist it as you get it in. Put your fingers through and pull up. Put your seams together, pin and sew. So once you've sewn it and pulled it through, that's what it should look like. And then press. And that's what it looks like all pressed. That's the back, that's the front. So lay it out like this. There's your front and there's your two back pieces. Pick up one of your fronts, because obviously you've still got bits to sew, and pull it over to your back. Pick up one of the fronts, one of them, and then pull them down so they're like so. So if you pin this, work your way down and pin this. And then match your seams in the middle. Put in one seam that way and one seam that way. Nest it together. And pin, you should have, and then pin the rest. there we are. So what you've done is you've put the front up and picked up, and we're going to do the same this side. This is the bit that we've picked up, and then what we need to do is pick up this, put them right sides together and pin, then work his way down to get to this section. Then pin, put the two centre sections. Hang on a minute, that is wrong because that's not all right. Hang on. Let me just check this. That's right side, right side, right side, right side. So that's, so nest your seams, one going one way, one going the other, and then the rest should go in. So this is what it looks like from the outside, face right side facing out. And if you pick up what you've just pinned on the inside, that's what it should look like. You should have these right sides together ready to sew, and these right sides together ready to sew. Use your pinking shears on on the seam you've just sewn, making sure that all your other fabric is out the way, and turn back round the correct way. And there you go, all your side seams are now inside. That's a bit lumpy, just that bit there. Let's get that off. Better. It's all right, and then press, and that's the bodice finished. There you go. I seem to have lost the sound for this section, but what I'm showing you here is that you have to overlap the back by an inch and sew across the bottom. The reason you're overlapping is because this is where you either put buttons or press studs or whatever closure you wish. So measure it. You want to close it from, is it the way I've got it in front of me now, then it's right on top of left, and that's the way she had it in her picture on the Sew Can Do site. So measure it an inch and then sew across the bottom only to, and that's where you're going to put your skirt, so you want that completely closed. Do a long stitch and then you can pull that stitch out if it shows when you're finished. I cranked my stitch up to, I think it's 5 is my highest, and you just need to go about an inch, inch and a half across the bottom, just where my finger's showing you now, just to secure the bottoms together. I'm only using one piece of fabric, not two. I'm not gonna not two on my skirt. So all I have to do is sew up the short side, and obviously I've got to match my pattern up. So keep that in mind as well if you've got to match any pattern on any of your bodice or skirt. So just sew 1/2 inch top to bottom. And then I should zigzag to neaten this edge. And then put it on a zigzag stitch. So where we're at now is, this is a skirt piece, and we've sewn the short side together, and I've zigzagged the seam to stop it from fraying. I have now just sewn by hand, because I find it's a lot easier than messing about with the sewing machine. Some cotton all the way around, big stitches, double cotton with a knot at the end, and then I just leave that dangling, and we have now got to fit this inside this. So we need to insert the bodice into the skirt. Now the bodice is right side out and across there, so this is the back. This is where we've basted it so it won't move while we're sewing. Keep that together. We need to pick this up that way and place it inside the skirt. That makes them right sides together. Then you have to pull your thread here so the skirt fits the size of the bodice. Now this is the back where we've, that's my needle, this is the back where we've basted it across, where the press studs are going to be. This is the back seam of the skirt where we sewed it together. So I want them two together. So pin that together so they don't move. Where we found the centre of the skirt and we put a little notch, find the centre of the bodice, so the centre of the bodice is there, and then put that notch with the skirt notch. Then you know you've got your front of your skirt. Pin it further down so the pins are out the way. Now you should be able to then gather. Now she's done gathering different to me. Whoops. You get it the rough size, how you want it, and then you'll be able to pin. It will take a little bit of time for you to get it the right size. If you just keep persevering and messing with it, then eventually you'll be able to pin it all the way around, both sides exactly the same. So I've tried to evenly distribute all the gathers equally around the whole skirt, and I've got them the right size. So now I'm going to do a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. That might make my no, 1/2 inch seam allowance. I don't want to shorten the bodice too much, and then I should be zigzagging the seam afterwards. So once you've sewn your 1/2 inch all the way round, then you need to take out your gathering stitch. Make sure that your gathers are reasonably evenly based all the way around. Don't forget this is a play dress, so you know, don't get carried away. There's no such thing as skirt or skirt police, sewing police. So take out that all the way round, and then instead of zigzagging it, I think I'm going to just use my pinking shears. So that's my waist. I did sew another line 1/4 inch away from the 1/2 inch line, and then I've pinked up to that 1/4 inch, and then it won't fray any further if it's going to. So I've taken all the pins out everywhere, and now let's pull it through and have a look. Oh, there's not so many pleats just here, look. Just turn you round. I can't see, so let's just have a quick look at this. Yeah, there's probably that little bit of area just there I've got no pleats. But it's similar on the back, so that's not too bad. Overall, it's a lovely little dress. Now, at this point, you will have to finish your hem. Because I did a tablecloth, I made sure that when I cut, that when I cut, the hem on the tablecloth was going to be the hem of my skirt. So I've actually finished the dress already. But if you'd like to do what the lady says on the tutorial on her site, and then she'll explain it to you how to turn up your hem. So now we've got to do the back. Now, if you want to do buttons, you've got that inch overlap where you could put buttonholes in. You can do so, but she's got Presteds, so I think I'm going to try and do Presteds. There you go. So there we have it. One finished play summer dress. It's in seersucker, 100% cotton, so you can just throw it in a wash, and then as soon as it's dry it can go straight back on. Ideal for playing outside, whatever, around the house, whatever. It's nice and light on hot days, and easy to wash and look after. And if you want to iron it, you can. If not, I don't think seersucker doesn't mind if you leave it. Anyway, that's it. So if you would like to hit the like and subscribe button, then next time I do another video, I always try to find free videos and try and help people, because not everyone can afford to spend £15 on a metre of fabric or £12 a metre and that. So I do try and give alternatives wherever possible. This is a play dress, obviously, and the front and back are finished. I think it's lovely. It was so easy to sew up. Thank you for joining me, and I think on the next bit I show you close-ups of the Presteds.